All right, folks, here we are with a scheduling delay due to yours truly. We are finally back to play Game 4 of the 1919 World Series between the Chicago White Sox and the Cincinnati Reds. We are Game 4 right now. White Sox are up 3-0. So Cincinnati is visiting Chicago. They need to jump back in this thing today. So let me run you through the starting lineups and we will get going here. For the visiting Reds, we have leading off Morty Rath. Morty's playing second base. Average to good at the plate, average to good in the field, and a fast runner as shown by the green behind the year on his card. Okay, Jake Daubert. I always want to call him Daubert, but anyway. He is an average to good hitter. He's average to good on the base pass. And he is a green rated fielder, which means he's good to great in the field. Okay, he's playing first base. Third batter is Heine Groh. Heine's a green rated or a good to great hitter. He's good to great on the base pass, and he's an average fielder. Okay, we have Ed Roush, who's all around great. He's good to great at the plate, good to great on the base pass, and good to great in his position. And today he is playing, let me just clarify this, I think he's playing left field for us here. I could be wrong. Roush is playing center field today. Okay? And then we have Pat Duncan. Pat's an average to good hitter. Not so great on the base pass. That's average to, or below average right there. And he is an average fielder. Okay, he is playing left field. Okay, then we got Larry Kopp. He's playing shortstop. He's average at the plate. Got good speed on the base pass. Below average fielder at his position, which is shortstop. Okay, and finishing out the outfield in right field, we have Greasy Neal. Average to good at the plate. Great on the base pass. Average in his position, which, as I said, is right field. Ivy Wingo is catching. Average to good at the plate, not so great on the base pass, and average to good in the field. Our pitcher for the Reds is Jimmy Ring, and his average in the field is good, so he fields the position well. Okay. If you want to look at Jimmy's stats as a pitcher, he's good to great as a pitcher, and I've got him here, average in the field. So he's a decent fielder. Okay. Now for the hometown Chicago White Sox, Nemo Leibold leads off. He's playing right field. Average to great or average to good hitter, great on the base pass, as shown by the green on his card here, and below average fielding his position. Okay, Eddie Collins, probably one of the best players on the team. He's good to great all around, hitting, speed on the base pass, and at his position, which is second base. Buck Weaver playing third base, average at the plate, good to great on the base pass, and average fielding position. Okay, at third base. The famous shoeless Joe Jackson, good to great at the plate, and average elsewhere, average to good elsewhere. Okay, Happy Felsch, average to good at the plate, average to good in his position in the field, which today he's playing center field, and then he's got good speed on the base pass. Okay, Chick Gandil playing first base as usual. He is average to good at the plate, average on the base pass, a great fielder at his position. Okay, we've got Swede Reisberg playing shortstop. He is average hitting, great on the base pass, and below average fielding his position. Catching today, Ray Schalk's got the duty. He's average to good at the plate. Same thing on the base pass. Fantastic catcher. Okay. And our pitcher is Eddie Cicotte, the Game 1 starter. Eddie, look at his numbers here. He's good to great as a pitcher. And at the bottom of these cards, you'll see the these numbers. SP is starting pitcher. 7.7 means on average for his outings he goes 7.7 innings. Now Jimmy Ring only goes 5.7 innings. Okay, that'll come into play later in the game as we go along. All right. For now, let's see if we can get started here. Now I've gone ahead and brought us into the current century with my dice. You receive your set of dice with the game. I'm going to go ahead and use my phone because it's just better from a video standpoint to not be chasing dice around, or to put my dice tray on the table here. So I decided to do it this way. All right. So the black die is for the pitcher. That's a D8. The red die is for the batter. And the green is for the outcome. So the outcomes on the cards will be dictated by the green die. Okay. So we got Maury Rath leading off. Eddie Cicotte pitching to him. Here we go. Okay, now let's take a look at the cards first. He's a green rated pitcher. Maury's a yellow rated batter. That means Maury's at a -1 disadvantage. Okay. He is a lefty. Eddie's a righty. So it's righty lefty. There's no platoon disadvantage. If they were the same, there'd be a disadvantage there. So Maury's rolling at a -1. Okay. All right. So the batter rolled a 2. That's Maury. Take away 1. That means he actually rolled a 1. Eddie rolled a 3. The pitcher rolled a 3. So the pitcher wins. Okay. Now the D20 says, look on the pitcher's card. Number 15 is a flyout. Okay. I want to see who he flied out to. We can roll our D20 here. It says 10. That's left field. So he flied out to left field. For those of you keeping the score at home, I'm going to keep the score here. I put the contact paper down on my play mat here, so I'll keep the score here. But anyway, it's an F7, and we have 1 out. Okay, moving on. Jake Talbert. I'll keep calling him that. It's my choice. Okay, he is also -1 based on his skill level. He is also a lefty though, so there's no platoon disadvantage. All right, so he's rolling at a -1. Okay, pitcher rolled a 5. Batter rolled effectively a 1. 2 minus his -1. So pitcher wins again with a 17 on his card, which is another flyout. And it's a flyout to 20, which is right field. Okay, so now we have 2 outs in the inning. All right. All right, we're moving on. Heidi Groh coming up. And Groh does not suffer a disadvantage based on skill, but he is a righty, and so is the pitcher, so he's -1. The pitcher has an advantage in the same-handed matchup. Okay, so Groh is -1, so let's roll it up. See, man, Cicotte rolled a 5 again, -1 for the batter. It's a 5 on Cicotte's card. That is a ground out. Okay, and a ground out we check infield. So let's look at our D6, and that's just a little number in front of the catcher. Throws to first. We have 3 outs in the inning. Okay. All right, so switching sides. Next up for the Reds, next inning will be Ed Roush. But for the hometown Chicago White Sox, Nemo Leibold is up, and Jimmy Ring rocks and fires. Now, Jimmy's got an advantage from a skill standpoint, but not a platoon advantage, so Nemo's rolling at a -1. Jimmy Ring rolls a 7. That's going to beat anything Nemo could roll, even if there was no advantage applied. So pitcher wins. A 14 on his card is a flyout. It's a flyout to 8 is third base. So a little pop up to third. All right. So we now have 1 out in the inning. By the way, we moved on to the bottom of the first. I'll move that. There. Okay. So we got 1 out. Eddie Collins coming up. No disadvantage from a skill standpoint, and no platoon disadvantage, so we're rolling this one straight up. 6 from the pitcher, Jimmy Ring. 3 for Collins. That is a 1 on the card. That's a strikeout for Jimmy Ring. So Eddie Collins goes down swinging. All right, Buck Weaver's up next. Man, I keep wanting to grab dice. I actually just reached. I just reached for him just then. Okay, we got 2 outs. Nobody on. Here comes Ed Weaver. He's at a -1 disadvantage based on skill. He is a righty, and so is the pitcher, so he's actually rolling at a -2 disadvantage. So 2 minus 2 is 0. Doesn't matter. The pitcher rolled a 6. And it's a 6 on the pitcher's card. That is a ground out. We'll see, it's a ground out too. Another one in front of the catcher. So the catchers are busy this first inning. So no scores and nobody on, no runners, no nothing yet. We move on to the top of the second. We've got Ed Roush coming up, facing Eddie Cicotte. No disadvantage from a skill standpoint. They're both green. Okay. No platoon advantage for Cicotte. So they're rolling straight up. Pitcher rolls an 8. Batter rolls a 3. The pitcher wins with an 11 on his card. That is a ground out, and we'll see who he grounded out to. Grounded out to first base. Okay. So by the way, let me go ahead and do my score here. We got nothing to nothing so far. All right. As usual, I'll probably rub that off there, but it's there for now. So, okay, we got one out. Roush is down. Here comes Pat Duncan. Now, Pat Duncan is a -1 to Cicotte from a skill level. He's also a righty, so he's -2. It'll be tough for him to get anything going here. Man, our pitchers are rolling like crazy. An 8 from Cicotte, so that's going to be anything Duncan could roll regardless, since he's rolling a D6. A 20 on the pitcher's card is a line out. Line out to the infield here. So basically, it's a caught third strike. That's what I always call it. It's a line out the catcher. It's a caught third strike. So 2 down. All right, moving on. Larry Kopf. Okay, Larry's -1 from skill standpoint. He's also -1 from platoon standpoint. So he's at -2. Let me check something here. Hang on a second. I'm going to add a dice here. I think I added a custom D6. Hang on. All right. Let's try this again. All right. All right. He's rolling at a -2 because of platoon and also his skill level. Okay. He rolls a 2. That's a 0. The pitcher rolled a 6, so it's a strikeout on the pitcher's card. So that is our third out of the inning. We move on to the bottom of the second. Okay. Still not much going on yet. Greasy Neal coming up. And let's see, we lost. Jackson was last up, so Happy Felsch. Sorry, I had to move that along. Happy Felsch coming to the plate. All right. Felsch is yellow rated. Ring is green rated. So he's at -1. He's also -1 platoon, so he's rolling at a -2. Pitcher rolls a 3. Batter rolls a 3, but he's rolling at a -2, so you take away 2 from that 3. Pitcher wins that with a 9 on his card. That is a ground out. And we'll roll that to see that's a ground out to first. All right. So we got 1 out. Okay. Next up, Chick Gandil. He's righty also. So he's rolling at a -2 with Jimmy Ring. Okay. Pitcher rolls a 5. Batter rolls a 3. So pitcher wins that one. A 2 on the pitcher's card is a strikeout. All right. So Gandil goes down swinging. Swede Risberg coming up, another righty. So these guys are all suffering because of the platoon disadvantage here. Okay? So he's rolling at a -2. Pitcher rolls a 6. This is effectively a 4 -2, so a 2. And a 7 on the pitcher's card is a ground out. That is a ground out to pitcher. All right? So everybody going down with the whimper there. We move on to the top of the third. All right. Neal was our last up, so Ivy Wingo at the plate. Shock will be up next for Chicago White Sox. All right. go. Wingo is got a -1 disadvantage, and that's it. Okay, but he only rolled a 1, so it's a 0. So the pitcher wins, and it's a 13 on the pitcher card. Okay, the 13 there is a fly out, and that is a fly out too. The fly out to shortstop. Sorry. No, I'm sorry, to left field. Okay, so we got 1 out on top of the third. Okay, and here comes Jimmy Ring to the plate. And Jimmy is obviously, he's at -2. He's also a righty, but we're not going to penalize him any more than that. He's rolling at a -2. Pitcher rolls a 4. Jimmy rolls a 1. That's a 3 on the pitcher card. That is a strikeout for Seacott. So there's 2 outs. And we go to the top of the order. All right. Top of the order, that means Maury Rath coming up. He's -1 to Seacott, no other disadvantage. So he's rolling at -1. He rolls a 6, -1's a 5. That means he gets a hit. On his card, it's a 19. A 19 for him is a sack bunch, which translates to a bunt hit. There's nobody else on base. So we got Maury Rath on first base with the bunt to start things off. Let's see if we can get things rolling here. Okay, Jake Dauber coming up. He's a lefty. Pitcher's a righty, so no disadvantage there, but he is -1 from a skill standpoint. So here we go. All right, pitcher rolls a 6. That means the pitcher wins to his 2, or to his 1, effectively. And it's a 2 on the pitcher card, which is a strikeout. So just right when we got started, inning over. Okay. All right, moving on to the bottom of the third. We got Ray Shaw coming up. Ray is -1 from a skill standpoint. He's also a righty, so he's taking a hit there too. So he's -2. So the highest he can roll is a 4. And he doesn't. But the pitcher rolls a 2. Doesn't matter because you take 2 away from Shaw, so the pitcher wins that with a 20 on his card, which is a line out. And we're going to call that a line out to the shortstop. All right, one out here. Let me go ahead and change our second inning score here. Still 0 and 0. All right. Okay, Shaw's out, so the pitcher, Eddie Seacott, coming up. He's at a -2 skill disadvantage. That's the most we're going to apply to him. So the highest he can roll is a 4. Rolls a 4, that drops to a 2, but the pitcher rolled a 1, so Eddie gets a hit. And on Eddie's card, a 12, where he gets on base. Sorry, we'll take this guy off. Eddie walks, so we'll put him on first base. I didn't remove Daubert from base. Sorry about that. All right, so we got a man on with 1 out. Okay, put Eddie on first base. And we got Nemo Leibold coming up. Okay, he is -1 to the pitcher Jimmy Ring, but he is not suffering a platoon disadvantage, so he's just -1. So we'll see if we can get something going. He rolls a 6, that means he wins it, and a 17 on his card is a walk. So we got 2 men on, 2 straight walks. Okay. Eddie Collins coming up with 2 men on and 1 out. Eddie's green rated. He doesn't suffer platoon advantage, so we're rolling straight up for Eddie. Eddie rolls a 4, the pitcher rolls a 1, that means he gets a hit. That is a single for Eddie Collins. Okay. Now we're going to take a look here. I'm going to put these guys where they belong here, first of all. Okay, Seacott's at second. He's not a fast runner. Let's see where our single was to. We got a single to left field. Okay, so I'm going to say that Eddie is at second. We're just going to station to station. Eddie's not a good runner. Definitely not going to be stealing home anytime soon. So we'll put them here, here. Collins Collins at first, and Seacott at third. Okay. Okay. Buck Weaver coming up. Now Buck suffers a 2-point disadvantage here. Okay. So the best he can roll is a 4. He does roll a 4, the pitcher rolls a 1, so Buck gets a hit. It's a 13, it's a double on his card, okay? Now if we look here, Eddie Collins is a green rated runner, okay? He's on first base, right? So the double is going to score these two guys. So there's 2 in. Eddie's at third. Now the question is, where was the double to? Let's see if Eddie's going to try to stretch this thing. Okay. Double was straight over shortstop. Okay, so right here in the gap. All right. So in a gapper situation, let's look at it and say who is our better fielder in the outfield. Okay. That's going to be probably the center fielder picking that up for the Reds. Okay. And the center fielder is Roush. Okay. He's green rated fielder. So we got a green rated runner and a green rated fielder. So and the catcher is Ivy Wingo. He's average. Okay. So the defense, center field and catcher, are at a +1. So is the runner. So it's a 50-50 chance whether he's going to make it. Now, we just scored 2 runs there in a game where we got 1 out, in a game where getting the runs in, you know, runs have been in a premium so far. I think we're going to hold up Collins at third. All right, that's the way I would do it. So, you know, they get the ball in, hold him up at third. So he just gets his double and 1 more. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, that was just a double. Sorry. He's at second base. Okay, it should be third base we're looking at here. He's average, so it's +1. He holds up there. But he does score 2 runs. So we have, for Chicago, 2 runs in the third. All right. Now, sorry, I'm fighting a cold, so I'm a little medicated. So I'm moving a little slow. Okay. Okay. So we still got 1 out in the inning. Buck Weaver coming to the plate, and he has Eddie Collins at second base because these 2 guys already scored. All right. Okay. Weaver is -1 to ring. He's -2. So he's got to. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's Jackson. Sorry. No, it's I'm losing my mind here. Yeah, that's right. Weaver's coming up. So he's -2, platoon disadvantage and a disadvantage for his skill. So the highest he can roll is a 4. He rolls a 2, -10 puts him at 0, which the pitcher still beats him with a 1 to 9 on the pitcher card, which is a ground out. Let's see where the ground out was to. Ground out, little number to the catcher. Tells him out at first, but it does move our runner along here since Eddie's a good runner. Move him along to third. But we have 2 outs in the inning. All right. Shoeless Joe Jackson coming up. He's green rated, so no disadvantage there, and he's a lefty. So he's rolling straight up here. Let's see if he can get our run in here. He rolls a 2, pitcher rolls a 2. That is a tie. That means we go to the wild card stack. Check this out. Batter ejected, arguing call with the umpire. Shoeless Joe Jackson has just been tossed from the game for arguing a strike call with the umpire. So not only does that end the inning, but Jackson is out of the game. So I got to pull Shoeless Joe Jackson. I got to go to the dugout over here and get me another outfielder. And I guarantee you, he's not going to be nearly the quality of player as Shoeless Joe was. Well, not too bad. Shane O'Collins can take over for him. So Collins goes to left. Jackson's out of the game. All right, and he's out. My assumption there is it was a ball strike call on the 3rd strike, and he's out. Okay, so inning is over. We go to the top of the 4th. And the score is now 2-0 Chicago. Okay? My 2 all right there? All right, 2-0. All right. Nobody on base. Make sure I got everything set up here like I should. Nobody on base, nobody outs. Okay. We've got Heine Grove coming up. He's green rated against Seacott, but he's got his platoon disadvantage, so he's -1. 1 minus 1 is a 0, it doesn't matter. Pitcher roll a 7. The 10 on his card is a ground out. That is a ground out to shortstop. All right, so we have 1 out. All right. Next up, Ed Roush coming up. Ed doesn't have a platoon disadvantage, and he's green rated, so we're rolling straight up here. Ed rolls a 6, pitcher rolls a 1, so Ed wins that one. A 20 on Ed's card is a bunt, so he drag bunts, and he's on first. All right. Moving on. Pat Duncan. Pat's a righty, so he's suffering a -2 disadvantage. Green versus yellow, and then the platoon, he's a righty. It's a righty-righty matchup. Okay? So we'll take 2 off whatever he rolls here. He rolls a 6, -2 is a 4. That means he beats the pitcher's roll of 1, and a 16 on his card is a walk. So 2 men on for the Reds. So they're answering here in the top of the 4th. All right, next up, Larry Kopf. He's a righty, and he's yellow, so he's got a -2. So 1 - 2 is a -1. He's not going to win anything with that. Pitcher rolls a 2, and an 8 on the pitcher's card is a ground out. Let's see where the ground out is to. Okay, it's a ground out to second base. Okay, now, what we're going to do here, we're going to assume that, I didn't put our runners on, I'm sorry. We got Roush and Duncan on. Okay. Roush is a good runner, so he's going to make it to third. Okay, now the question is, we're going to see if we doubled off Duncan. Duncan is a blue runner. He's slow. Okay, so grounded to 4, so we want to check 4-6-3 from a defensive standpoint. Okay, let's check 4-6 for the first out. Okay, and basically what I do on when there's a ground out is you assume the first out. So the 4-6 leg of it's a done deal. Okay, it's 6-3 we want to check to see if we got Duncan out. Okay, so our shortstop today is Swede Reisberg. Okay, now Swede's a below average fielder. Okay, our first baseman is Chick Gandil. Okay, he's above average. So these guys cancel each other out, so they're average. Okay, but that still gives them an advantage over our slow runner, Pat Duncan. He's -1. So we got a total of 0 advantage on the defense and -1 on the batter. That means that in order to be safe, Kopf needs to roll a 2 or below. Normally, 50-50 chance would be 1-3 safe, 4-6 out, right? But you take away 1 from Kopf because of the way it works out here. He has to roll a 1 or a 2 to be safe. Okay, so we're going to roll a D6. He rolls a 4. He is out. So it's a double play. Ends the inning. Clear the bases, and we are done, kids. So no runs. Some men left on base, and we move on to the bottom of the 4th. All right. I hope you followed that. I'll try to go a little. For those of you who haven't seen the game before and know how it works, you basically sum the defense abilities, compare it to the runner's speed, okay, which is what's behind the date on all the cards here, and then you can tell whether there's a penalty or not. If it's 50-50, then you roll straight up, 1-3 safe, 4-6 out. But if it's not, then you apply that disadvantage and go that way. Okay, so here we are with the Reds. Put it 0 in the 4th, and we got Happy Felsch coming up for Chicago. All right, Happy's yellow rated and a righty, so he's at -2. All right, pitcher rolled a 7. He effectively rolled a 3 - 2 would be a 1. It's a 10 on the pitcher card. So for Jimmy Ring, that is a ground out, and it's a ground out to the pitcher. All right, so we got 1 out. Now in the game, you guys that have received the game that have there's a version of the game that has the multicolored dice that I sent out. You've been using the brown dice for the infield stuff. It doesn't matter. It's a D6 regardless. Okay, and I'm planning to simplify it for future versions of the game, where I continue to use the same D6 for these various rolls, but it's always the pitcher's dice to roll as well. Okay. All right, so we got Happy Felsch going there on the ground out pitcher, and then we go on to Chick Gandil. He's a righty. He's yellow, so he's got a -2 disadvantage to our boy Jimmy Ring here. So whatever he rolls, we take 2 off of it. And he rolls a 6, -2 makes it a 4. The pitcher rolled a 4, so guess what? We got a tie. Now, last time we went to the wild card deck, we tossed a batter out. Let's see what we get now. We get a ground rule double. All right. So Chick Gandil is on with the ground rule double. All right. Let's put him on second base. Move on to Swede Risberg. Okay. He's also -2 to Jimmy Ring. Okay, so we take 2 away from whatever he rolls. He rolled a 2. Doesn't matter because Jimmy rolled an 8. It's an 18. It's a line out on Jimmy's. It's a line out to second base. Okay. Now let's double check here. Felsch is a green runner. Okay, so we're going to say he got back. What I typically do is, if it's a blue runner, I do a check to see if they made it back. Right? 1 to 3, say 4 to 6 out. I just do 50-50. I don't do checks on average or green runners. I assume they make it back on stuff like that. Okay, so we got another out. Risberg's down, and we're up to Ray Schalk, who is also rolling at a -2 disadvantage because of his skill, green versus yellow, and the platoon disadvantage. Okay, they're both righties. Take away 2 from whatever he rolls. The pitcher rolled a 2, but unfortunately he rolled a -1, effectively, which really sucks. That's a strikeout for the inning, and we move on to the top of the 5th. No more score for Chicago there. We are still 2-0 game. Okay, let's get our bases cleared. Everything's set up here. I'm going to leave them on second. Greasy Neal coming up. All right, he's a yellow hitter, so he's at a -1 disadvantage. Does not have a platoon disadvantage, so he's just -1. He rolls a 6. Unfortunately, that's a 5. -1 would make it a 5, but the pitcher rolled an 8. So Eddie Cicotte wins on that one. It's a 17 as a fly out to right field. Okay. Let you keep the score at home. We got 1 out, and we will move on. Greasy Neal is out. Ivy Wingo, the catcher, coming up. He is a lefty, so no platoon disadvantage, but he's yellow versus the green here, so he's at a -1. We'll take 1 away from whatever he rolls. He rolls a 4, -1's a 3. That beats the 2 the pitcher rolled. A 14 on Wingo's card is a double. All right, so Wingo is on second base after slapping a double. Now, a lot of times, if you want to know where they hit the double too, what I do is just use a D6. 1 to 2 is left field. 3 to 4 is center field, and 5 and 6 is right field. So if you want to know where he hit it too, there you go, center field. Okay. All right. Now, pitcher Jimmy Ring is coming up. He's at a -2 disadvantage. Effectively at a -3 disadvantage with his platoon, but I hate to penalize pitchers any more than they already are. But there you have it. Let's see what he rolls. We'll take away 2 from his. He rolls a 1, so it's a -1. So Cicotte on his card, it's an 18 on his card, which is a line out. Line out to the pitcher. Okay. Now we got Ivy Wingo on second. He's a blue guy, so I do a check there. So we got another out. So I do a check on him. 1 to 3, he's going to be safe getting back to second. 4 to 6, he did not make it. He's safe 1 to 3, so he did make it back to second base. All right, but now we got 2 outs. Excuse me. Okay, Mario Rath coming up, our second baseman, and he is yellow rated. He is a lefty, so does not suffer the platoon disadvantage, lefty-righty matchup, so he's at -1. Roll for him. It was the other one. Okay, he rolls a 2 minus 1, puts him in a 1. Pitcher rolled a 4. So Eddie Cicotte wins that one. An 11 on the pitcher card is a ground out to end the inning. And it's a ground out to the second baseman. So we end on a 4-3. Everybody out of the pool. Couldn't get the run in. So we go on to the bottom of the fifth. No runs scored there. It is still a 2-0 ball game. Bottom of the fifth. All right, so here we go. Eddie Cicotte coming up. He is at a -2 to Jimmy Ring. We're going to roll it. See what happens. He rolls a 6, which brings him down to a 4. But Jimmy Ring, the pitcher, rolled a 7, so the pitcher wins that one with a 17, a fly out on his card. And it's a fly out to the shortstop, so a little pop up. So we got 1 out. And Leibold coming to the plate. Leibold's at a -1 to Jimmy Ring based on skill. Platoon is not a disadvantage for him. It's a righty-lefty matchup. So -1 off the red die. 2 minus 1 is a 1. Pitcher rolled a 7, so it's a 2 on the pitcher card based on that, and is a strikeout. So 2 down. Okay. Eddie Collins coming up. Eddie's green rated and doesn't suffer. It's a righty-lefty matchup, so no platoon disadvantage there. So I'm rolling straight up. 2 versus the pitcher's 2 for the batter, 5 for the pitcher, so pitcher wins that. It's a 15 on the pitcher card. That is a fly out. We're going to see where he flied out to, just for grins. And he flied out to the first baseman, so we'll pop up the first. All right. That takes us to the top of the 6th, kids, and we still have a score of 2-0 for the home team, White Sox. All right. Okay. Daubert is up for Cincinnati. So he is yellow rated, so that's a -1, but no platoon disadvantage since it's a righty-lefty matchup. Okay, so -1 off the red die here. He rolls a 4, -1's a 3. Pitcher rolls a 4, and a 20 on the pitcher card is a line out. Okay, let's see where he lined out to. Line out straight back to the pitcher. Okay, so Cicotte makes the play on that one, and we got 1 out in the inning. Okay. Now, Heine Groh does not suffer a skill disadvantage or platoon, so it's straight up on this one. So red versus black. Pitcher rolls a 6, batter rolls a 2, so Cicotte wins that. An 18 on his card is a line out. So another line out. And it's caught with the catcher, so basically that is a caught third strike for Heine Groh. Okay? So he is out. 2 outs in the inning. Okay. Ed Roush is coming up. Same thing with him. No platoon disadvantage, no skill disadvantage, so straight up. He rolls 4. Pitcher rolls an 8. So again, Cicotte shuts him down with a line out on his card. And that is a line out. Another caught third strike to the catcher. Okay, so another strikeout there. All right. So 3 outs. Pat Duncan will be up next inning. We got Buck Weaver coming up in the bottom of the 6th. Now, you look at Jimmy Ring's number here below his card, says 5.7. That's his average number of innings. If I leave him in the game, I'm going to start doing a check to see if he needs to be downgraded, take away this DA to make it a D6. Okay? So, 1 to 3, we leave him in. Or 1 to 3, he doesn't get downgraded. 4 to 6, he does. Okay? So, that was a weird looking roll. Let me try that again. That was odd. That's bizarre. I don't know if you guys saw that too. I rolled 2s and it rolled straight up. It never spun. I'm going to hit it again. I'm going to make it spin. Here, I'll just do this and it'll all spin. Okay, so it's a 6. So that means that I do downgrade him. If I'm going to leave him in the game, then I have to downgrade him to a D6, which makes the batter and he equal. Okay? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to bring in a reliever for Cincinnati. Let's bring in, let's see, based on what's coming up here, you want to bring in a righty because that hurts the White Sox quite a bit. Sorry, Cubs fans, didn't mean to throw that in there. So it's either going to be Let's see. I need a righty. For my dugout over here. Righty, come on. There we go. Roy Mitchell. He's a righty. So when you bring Roy in, he can go 4.4 innings before he has to be checked. Okay? So Roy's going to kick off the inning for us here. So Jimmy Ring is done for the game. He leaves at this point down 2-0 as a losing pitcher if the game ends. Okay, so Mitchell's up. We got Buck Weaver. He's green rated. Buck's yellow, so that's a -1 for Buck. They're both righties, so another -1. So Buck take away 2 from the red dice here. He rolls a 2, that's a 0. Pitcher rolls a 4, that's a 7 on Mitchell's card. That is a ground out. Okay, so we're going to say that is a ground out to first base. All right, so we got 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. And sorry, let me go ahead and keep our score here for the top of the 6th. 0. Okay. So, moving on, Shano Collins. All right. Shano is yellow rated. Mitchell's green, so that's a -1, and they're both righties. So again, righty-righty matchup, advantage goes to the pitcher. So he's -2 off the red die. He rolls a 4, which would beat the pitcher's 3 before you take away his 2. The pitcher wins 3-2, and a 5 on Mitchell's card is a ground out. And that is a ground out to the pitcher. So, 2 outs in the inning, and we're moving on to Happy Felsch, who again is at a -2 disadvantage for the same reason Colin was. Skill, he's -1, and platoon disadvantage. So -2 off his die. He rolls a 2. -2 is a 0. Pitcher rolls a 4. So Mitchell shut him down. Comes in and shuts the side down in his first appearance in the game. A 9 on his card is a ground out. Okay, so it was a ground out to second base for the 3rd out. All right, so moving on to the top of the 7th. White Sox still lead 2-0. So they're hanging on. Okay, that was Felsch, so we'll move on to Gandil. Okay, now Cicotte, he goes 7.7 innings before I do a check on him, so he's good for this inning. Okay, so he's coming up against Pat Duncan. Okay, Duncan is -1 to Cicotte, green versus yellow. He's also a righty, so he's -2. So we're taking away 2 from there. Okay, batter rolls a 4, -2 is a 2, but the pitcher just rolled a 1. All right, so that's a hit. It's a 6 on Pat Duncan's card. That is a single. All right, let's see where the single is to. Oh. Single to right field. All right, so Pat Duncan is on at first base. Okay. Now, Larry Kopp coming up. Larry is -1 to Eddie from skill level. He's also right-handed, so he's -2. So take away 2. He rolls a 4, -2 is a 2. Beats the pitcher's 1. And a 2 on Larry's card is another single. So Pat Duncan is a blue runner, so we're going to go station to station here. And the single is hit to right field, or left field, sorry. I meant to say left and said right. So, 2 men on, nobody out. All right, second base, first base. Greasy Neal coming up. He's -1. He's yellow versus green for Eddie Cicotte, but he's not a righty, so he doesn't suffer the platoon disadvantage. So it's a righty-lefty matchup. So -1. He rolls a 2, which goes down to a 1, but Cicotte rolls a 5, and so on the pitcher's card that is a ground out. Now it's possible we could have a double play here. Okay, the ground out to the pitcher. All right, so assuming the first out happens, okay, at third base, Okay, the pitcher's going to throw to third, going to be the out. Okay. Now we're going to check and see if the 5-4 happens. Okay, if the second part of the double play happens. The runner is Kopp, who is a green rated runner, so he's +1. Okay, our third baseman Heine Groh, or sorry, our third baseman Weaver, he's yellow rated, he's average. Okay, our second baseman Eddie Collins, he's +1, so he's green rated. So the defense combo here, these two guys are +1. Well, so is our runner, so it's 50-50. So when we roll this, it'll be 1-3 safe, 4-6 out at second. Okay, so let's see what we got. With a 2, he is safe at second base. All right, so Kopp does make it to second base on Greasy Neal's grounder, and we have 1 out, and we are moving on. Okay, so it was not a double play, just made the out at third, and we have Greasy Neal at first. All right, so on the fielder's choice, that's how you work that out. Okay. All right, the catcher Wingo coming up. He is yellow versus Seacott's green, so he's -1, but he's a lefty, so he's just -1. The 6 -1 is a 5. Pitcher rolled a 4, so the batter wins with a 5 on his card, which is a single on Ivy Wingo's card. All right. So if we go station to station, here's where we're at. Our runner at second, however, it was Kopp, and he's a green rated runner. Okay. So let's check and see where our single was hit. Single was hit over shortstop, so the left fielder got it. Okay. Our left fielder is, hang on, I'm double checking here. I forget who. I've got outfield guys here. Let me see who's playing left for the, it was Jackson. It's Collins, that's right. So Shane Collins here is a green rated fielder, even though Kopp's green rated 2. Our catcher, Schalk, is green rated, so the defense is +2 to Kopp's +1. Okay, so there's a disadvantage there. So in that case, third base coach puts up the stop sign because there'd be a disadvantage for Kopp to try to score. Okay, so we need to do this: 3, 2, and 1, and our next batter is there. So we got bases loaded, 1 out. All right, so the Reds getting something going here in the top to 7th. All right, so Ring is -2. Or not Ring, it's Roy Mitchell now. Where's this hidden card? I may not have one for him. Let's see, Rick Fisher, Gordon. Hang on one second, boys. Okay, yeah, I'm going to use a generic for him because I don't have a pitcher card for Roy Mitchell. Or hidden card for him. So, use our generic pitcher batter here. And that's not just from my American League bias showing up. It literally, I mean, it doesn't make much difference on a pitcher, on the pitchers. Whether they use their card or whether they use the generic card. So, here we go, 1 out. Pitcher's at a -2 to Eddie Seacott. Roll it up. He rolls a 3, the pitcher rolls a 6. It's a 7 on the pitcher's card. It's a ground out. Okay, now we're going to see what we get here. Okay, the first out's going to be the lead out, unless we're going to go for the double play. Okay, so let's see where it's a 7. I said that's a ground out, right? Yep. So that is a ground out to second base. Okay, well, we're going to shoot for the double play at this point. Chicago's shooting for the double play at this point. Okay, so we'll see if the run scores or not. We'll leave him in limbo right here. The first out is going to be here at second base, so that's an automatic. So we got 2 outs. Okay, now we're checking to see if the 6-3 wing of this is successful, and if we got Wingo out. Wingo's a blue runner. Our shortstop is Sweet Risberg. He's blue rated. So -1 versus -1 so far. Our second baseman, though, is green rated. That pulls the defense up to average. So they have a sum of 0 there. Poor Wingo is at -1, so he's got to roll nothing greater than a 2 to be safe. He rolls a 3, he is out. So the run does not score. We end the inning, go on to the bottom of the 7th with the White Sox still leading 2-0 after escaping right there. All right. So here we go. Coming to the plate, Chick Gandil's coming up. He's yellow rated versus Mitchell, who is green rated. So he's at -1. And then he's also a righty, so he's at -2. He rolls a 5, -2 is a 3. Pitcher rolls a 7, though. And on Mitchell's card, a 2 from this D20 is a strikeout. So we got 1 out. Oh, let me get these boys off base over here. Sorry. A little housekeeping there. And then also 2, we're going to be leading off with Rath next inning. All right, so Gandil's out. Sweet Risberg coming up. He is also yellow rated, so he's -1 to Mitchell. He is a righty, so he's got a platoon disadvantage too, so he's -2. So whatever we roll on the red, we're taking 2 off. 4 -2 is a 2. Pitcher rolls a 3. Pitcher wins. 14 on the pitcher card is a fly out. It is a fly out to right field. Okay. So 2 down to the bottom of the 7th there. And we move on to Ray Schalk. Another righty, and he's also at a disadvantage from a skill standpoint. He's yellow, so he's at -2 as well. A 4 -2 is a 2. The pitcher rolls a 3. Pitcher wins it with a 3 on his card as a ground out. That is a ground out to the catcher. So a little number to the catcher, and they're out of the inning. So Cincinnati shuts them up. 3 up, 3 down. All right. Now, we finished the 7th inning. Eddie Cicotte needs a check on him because he goes 7.7 innings. He's gone 7. Well, I take that back. No, he doesn't. He's on top of the 8th. So after this inning, 7.7 puts him 2/3 through the 8th. All right. So we'll do a check on him after the 8th here and see if he can stay in or not. So far, he's hurling a shutout. All right. Here we go. Cicotte to Maury Rath. Rath is -1 to him from a skill standpoint. He's yellow. He's a lefty, though, so no, it's a righty-lefty matchup. So he's -1 off the red die. 6 -1's a 5. We go to the trusty wild card deck because there's a tie. It says, drag bunt, batter safe, all runners advance 1 base. So he gets his base. And first runner of the inning. Okay, nobody else on, so nobody moves anywhere. All right, nobody out. Daubert coming up. He's yellow, so he's -1 to Cicotte. He's a lefty, so no platoon disadvantage, so he's just -1. He rolls a outstanding 1, so he loses. Cicotte rolls a 20. That is a line out. Okay. Now we're going to see who the line out was to the catcher. So it's caught 3rd strike. All right. Rath gets back to first. We go on with 1 out. Honeygrove coming up. No disadvantage. They're both green rated. He is a righty, though, so he's suffering a platoon disadvantage. Righty-righty matchup. Okay. So -1 for him. He rolls a 4, -1's a 3. Pitcher rolls an 8. On the pitcher's card, it's a 13. That is a fly out. Oops. Lost my D20. Hang on. Timeout. Technical difficulties here, folks. D20. Make it green. Sorry about that. Let's see where it was a fly out to. Fly out to the pitcher. So just a little pop up on the infield there. Okay. So Grows out, and Ed Roush coming up. That's kind of hard to see, isn't it? Let's change our color there to a darker green. There we go. All right, here we go. Roush is green rated, so no disadvantage there. He's a lefty, so no platoon, so he's straight up. Pitcher rolls a 3, but the batter rolls a 1. So the pitcher wins, and on Cicott's card, an 18 is a line out. So to end the inning, Roush lines out to the first baseman. All right, so there we go. End of the inning, no runs for the Reds. And we are getting down to it. The Reds need to get something going. These 2 runs so far are standing up for the White Sox. All right. All right. I can't remember if I messed up and left this here. I'm just going to leave it. But Cicott coming up. He's a -2 against Mitchell. He rolls a 1. -2 is a -1. He loses that to strikeout for the pitcher. Okay, so we got 1 out in the bottom of the 8th here. Okay. Next batter is Liebold. He's at a -1, but he's a lefty, so he just suffers -1. He rolls a 6. -1's a 5. Pitcher rolls a 3. Batter wins with a 14 on his card. A 14 on Liebold's card is a walk. All right, so Liebold strolls down to first base. Okay, 1 out. Eddie Collins coming up. Eddie's green rated, so these guys match up, so there's no disadvantage there. And he's a lefty, so it's righty-lefty. So we're rolling this straight up. They both roll 1s. Pitcher and batter roll a 1, which means we go to our favorite wild card. Pickoff. Lead runner out. That's unfortunate, but good for the Reds. So nobody on base and 2 outs. And Liebold can go sit down in the dugout. Okay. Now Eddie Collins is still up. All right. So we're rolling straight up with him. He rolls a 2, which beats the pitcher's 1, and he rolls an 11, which is a double. Too bad we had a pickoff and we just scored a run for him. But in any case, Collins is on second base. Buck Weaver coming up. He's a righty, so it's a righty-righty matchup and a -1 because it's green versus yellow. So he's -2. 2 -2 is a 0 for the batter and 2 for the pitcher. Pitcher wins with a 10 on the pitcher card. That is a ground out. Well, there's no force. Let's see who our ground out's to. Straight back to the pitcher. Okay. So 1-3 for the out. And yep. We're done. Clear that off. Move on to Shane Collins for next inning. We got Kopf coming up in the top of the 9th. So Reds have held them to 2 runs ever since the 3rd, but Mitchell needs to Cicott needs to be checked for his to whether he needs to be downgraded or not. And so I'll do this 1-3, we'll downgrade him. 4-6, we won't. 2, we won't. We'll leave him in. He's having a good game. Okay, so Kopf is up. Kopf is -1. He's also right. He's -2. Okay, so rolling at a -2. He rolls a 4. -2 is a 2. Pitcher rolls a 1. That's a 14, and a 14 on his card is a double. So Kopf is at second. All right. Moving on. Greasy Neal coming up. He's just at a -1. He's yellow versus green, but he's it's a righty-lefty matchup, so -1 for him. Pitcher rolls a 6. Batter rolls a 4 minus 1 is a 3. Pitcher wins with a 3 on his card. So Cicotte strikes him out. 1 down. Okay. Ivy Wingo coming up. Ivy is a lefty. Pitcher's a righty, so righty-lefty matchup. But Ivy is yellow versus Cicotte's green, so he's at a -1. They both roll 6s, but take away 1 from Ivy's, and the pitcher wins with a 6-5 roll. And a 1 on his card is a strikeout. So 2 strikeouts from Cicotte after allowing the hit early on. All right. All right. Now I think we're going to have to put somebody in for our pitcher here. So we're going to throw in. Let's see. We need a righty. Jimmy Smith is coming in. He pitches and plays third, so he actually can go in the game for us if we want to. Pitching next time. Okay? So I'm turning him, Mitchell, sideways so I remember that he's out of the game. Okay? Now, Smith's a righty. He's green, so no disadvantage. So he's rolling straight up here. I'm going to see if he can make some magic happen here with 2 outs in the top of the 9th. He rolls a 4. The pitcher rolls a 6. That is a 16 on the pitcher card. That's a fly out. The fly out, a pop up to the catcher. So the Reds go down with a whimper. That is 0 runs in the 9th. The game is over and ends 2-0 White Sox. So there you have the replay. That puts the White Sox at 4-0 in this best-of-9 series. So the Reds have one more chance to get back in this thing. And we'll do the follow-up here the next round as soon as I can. But that's it for today. Thanks for taking your time to give this a watch. If you want more info on the game, go to barstoolgames.net and subscribe to my channel, which if you're seeing this, you're already on it. So hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.